Allah's Messenger says that, for the one who performs the ghusl upon the deceased and conceal what he sees, for him Allah has granted him forgiveness 40 times, and that could be 40 major sins as well. But that's on the condition that you conceal what you see. So that could be a bad odor or discharge, or the condition of the actual deceased's body. So the purpose here is that when we perform the ghusl, we conceal what we see, we keep it to ourselves. It could be a number of people, number of close members of the family, and it's recommended that if a person passes away, close members of the family perform that ghusl for him, unless otherwise that if he's not confident and he doesn't know, then he can appoint or nominate somebody else, or even the deceased maybe at times he's allocated somebody or nominated somebody in his will. Okay, so he performs the ghusl for him. And we know that the woman, if a female member passes away, only a female member can perform her ghusl. Likewise, if a male passes away, only a male can perform his ghusl. Unless the husband passes away, the wife for him can perform the ghusl. And if the wife passes away, the husband for her can perform the ghusl. Okay, so this table here, normally, the way the shroud consists of 2 or 3 garments for a male and 5 garments for a female. Okay, so the way we've placed the garments here on the table would normally be in the coffin. So this table is used for performing the ghusl. Now what we want to do is we want to perform the ghusl and shroud the body, inshallah, here. Okay, so we want somebody to volunteer to lay on here so that we can perform that. But also we also want to, once we've shrouded the body, we want to put him into the cold refrigerator as well. Okay, so we want to put him into the refrigerator so everybody can get to see, what happens to the body after we've shrouded the body. So are you okay with that here? If you want to remove your hat, okay, you can keep your thobe on, inshallah, and just lay on here. There's a headrest here, okay, and this is used obviously for when we're performing the ghusl, so it's easy access to raise the body and lower the body. So if you want to, that's it. Okay. You okay with that? Okay, there's a number of things that you have to bear in mind when you're performing the ghusl. Number one, the aura has to be covered at all times. And the aura for the male is from his belly button or his navel to his knees. And this area has to be covered at all times. So we know that when we perform the ghusl upon the deceased, all the clothes have to be removed. All the elements of the clothes have to be removed, and the oral area has to be covered. For the female, the aura for the female is the lower neck, okay, to the middle of the shin. Okay, so it's exposing her face, her arms, her hands and her feet. So the aura for the female is from the lower neck to the shins, and for the male, it's from the navel to the knees. This area has to be covered. So assuming that we've removed all the clothes of the deceased, we then have an additional cloth or a towel, or something which is thick enough and not transparent when it gets wet, because the washing of the body, you wash over the aura area. Okay, so we conceal the aura area of the deceased like so. Okay, and we begin with raising the body slightly. This is the ghusl for the living, the dead, is the same as the living. So how do we perform ghusl? First of all, we perform the wudu, and then we perform the ghusl for the living, and it's exactly the same for the dead. So we start by raising the body and placing a hand slight pressure upon the chest. So if there's any discharge, it comes out. Okay, all the discharge is removed. So we just apply slight pressure upon the stomach, and then we lower the body again. Okay, in this case, before we start, okay, obviously we have to wear gloves when we're performing the ghusl and the wudu area. So one member, whoever's nominated to perform the ghusl, places his gloves and does the istanger area and cleans the discharge of the deceased. Once the discharge is cleared, you can remove the gloves and place new gloves on, and then we perform the wudu. The wudu is exactly the same. We wash the hands, we wash the face, we wash the arms, and we leave the feet, because the feet is washed during the ghusl area. Okay, so is that clear? We've cleaned the discharge. We wash the hands, wash the face, wash the arms. Okay, and we have to take due care and attention that we don't place no water into the mouth or the nasal or the ears. So for this reason, you can use either a sponge or cotton wool, or even earbuds for the ear as well. And if you find that there's discharge coming out of the nose, sometimes there's blood, coming out of the nose or the ears, then once we've washed these areas using cotton wool, then we block those areas so that no discharge is coming out, okay? So once the wudu is done, then we perform the ghusl. And the ghusl, we turn the body to the left so that we can wash the right. Because the sunnah is when you perform your ghusl after you perform wudu, you wash the right side of your body, then the left side of your body, and then the complete, from head to toes, the complete of your body. And we do this on an odd number of times. The sunnah is you can perform the ghusl either 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, however many times you need to do in order to keep the body clean. So we turn the body to the left, okay? If you want to turn to your left, okay, and rest your head on the headrest, and we clean, turning the body over, we clean, we pour water, warm water, and we can use obviously the shower head. If you don't have access to a shower head, then we can just place water into a bucket and use a jug, or even a sponge for that matter. Place water from the head all the way down to the toes, and that's the right side done. Then we do exactly the same to the opposite side. Okay, so turning to your right now. Okay, and we do exactly the same to the left-hand side of the body, and then we place the body back upon its back. Okay, and then we wash the complete top side of the body. Okay, so this is the first ghusl done for you. Now the second ghusl, you can use sidr, or you can use shampoo or any soapy water with the second wash. Okay, and then you perform exactly the same procedure again, hence washing the right side, then the left side, and the complete body. The last wash, you have to mix camphor, and camphor is like a strong detergent, if you like. I'll pass this around, and you can smell it. The smell is similar to Vicks, if you know strong Vicks vapor rub. It smells similar to vapor rub. So if you want to smell that, and pass that around. And this is to be applied in the final wash, the very last wash. So you mix this in a bucket of water with camphor and lukewarm water, and you apply exactly the same ghusl procedure again on the final wash. Okay, so if you want to pass that around and have a smell. So every time now you smell vapor rub, should remind you of camphor, the final wash of the deceased. What's it called? Camphor it's called. And I believe you can purchase this from local chemists. Inshallah, they should sell this. Yeah? Okay? Okay, now... So you haven't seen Okay, now that the ghusl is performed, we now have to shroud the body. Okay, and the shrouding consists of 3 materials, as I said, 3 cloths. We have a shorter cloth, which covers the aura. We have a centerpiece, which has a slit by the head, as you can see here. Okay, which has a slit by the head, and this is used for exposing the head for the deceased's family if they want to see the face. And the final covering is the big cloth at the bottom, which covers the complete body. Okay, so we start with covering the aura, and notice that we still have the same cloth, you know, which covers the aura. This remains on there until we've shrouded the aura with a clean cloth. And again, this has to be a cloth which is not transparent, generally thick, and it's preferred to have white. You know, the Prophet says white is better, and if you want to, striped is also recommended, a striped cloth, but white is better, inshallah. So now we begin by...
Before you carry on, it means you don't wash the aura, so...
We wash the aura, as I said, you apply the gloves, and only one person washes the aura, but you don't expose the aura when you're washing it. You don't expose the aura, you keep the aura covered at all times. Okay? And then the rest of the wudu and the ghusl is performed on top of the cloth. So when you pour, then you turn the body to its left, and then you turn the body to its right, and complete the process. But making sure that the aura is not exposed at all times. Okay?
Like some type of disease or something like that. I'm not trying to say it, but if he has it, like, when he comes, he has something on his chest or something, what would you do?
Well, because you've got gloves on, inshallah, it's perfectly okay. Yeah, you perform the ghusl and you perform the wudu and the ghusl as is stated by the sunnah. And so you would perform that, because this is the right of the deceased, and it's a right upon, and this is also a fard kifaya as well, for every Muslim to perform this, and the reward is very rewarding, inshallah. Okay, so now we We start by covering the right side over, place of the aura, and at this stage we can now pull out the cloth that we used to cover the aura. We can pull it out because it's covered. We can now pull it out, not exposing it. Okay? Okay, I'll have that, inshallah. If you want to just hang that on there. Okay. And then again, then we follow the cloth, the second piece over. Gives you a further covering, inshallah, okay? And then the second cloth is the one with the slit, as we mentioned. So this half of this is below the deceased's body, and the other half comes over. So we throw this cloth over, exposing the head. And then we can also wrap this as well. Again, begin with the right and then the left. What I forgot to mention to you is once you've washed the deceased, you perform the ghusl, you dry the deceased with a towel, and then you can, it's from the sunnah to apply perfume to the body, but avoiding to apply perfume to the place of sujood, which is the forehead and the face, to avoid that. So you apply perfume to the body, and then you shroud the deceased, the whole of the body, yeah? And avoiding the place of sujood. And it's also from the sunnah to perfume the shrouds as well. You can also perfume the shrouds as well. Okay?
What about musk?
Musk. Any form of perfume. Any form of perfume. Musk, or a lot of people use rose water as well. Any form of perfume, inshallah. Okay, this is now the second covering, okay? Now the third covering, again, we will we're going to wrap your face, akhi. Is that okay, inshallah? What's your name?
Abdul Majid.
Abdul Majid, akhi, inshallah. So we follow by wrapping over to the right, and then over to the left. And if you can notice, after the shroud, I've got 5 strands here, okay, 3 strands here. Okay, 1 for the center of the body, 1 for the chest, 1 for the ankles, and I have further 2, 1 for the top of the head, and 1 for the feet, inshallah, okay? And we tie this to the side of the body, not on the top, on the side of the body. So if you want to do that one, my brother, you can do this one. Okay? And then you can do that one as well. Keeping the feet together, that's it. You can tie that one, inshallah. So, tight enough so that it doesn't come undone, and the shroud doesn't untie. So it's tight enough so that it doesn't come. You can do it tighter than that, inshallah. Okay. Okay.
So how do you feel? Abdul.
Okay. The feet now. We gather. Actually, you have to bear in mind that today we're shrouding our brother here. Tomorrow it'll be our turn. Okay, and also consider that we all have families. This place that this brother's taken, he'll be replaced by ourselves, replaced by our father, our mother, our brother, our sister, our wives. Okay, so this is a place that we have to contemplate and comprehend, that every time that we're performing this kind of action, that this has an effect upon us. This is why the Prophet ﷺ advised to constantly sort of visit the graveyards. Why? Because it reminds you, it's a reminder of death. And surely when the son of Adam is reminded of death, this keeps him upon the straight and narrow, inshallah. Okay, so always have this as a reflection upon you. That today, we're performing this ghusl upon somebody, and then tomorrow somebody will be performing this upon us as well. Okay, if you want to give me another strand, brother, you want to hold this, one of you? Okay. And then we tie this likewise. Okay. And again, we do the same with the top here. So if you want to gather this together, And as I says, the slit here is, you can expose the body, you can expose the face, for the deceased's family, if they wish to see the deceased's family. But you only expose the face, and that's it. And then afterwards, you cover, and then you tie it with the strands, inshallah. Do you want to tie this one ahead? Do you want to tie this one? Okay, follow it around. Don't do this one too tight. We still want him breathing, inshallah. Okay, what we're going to do is now we're going to take Abdul Majid, or the deceased in this case, to a shelf here, which is used with the trolley jack to place the body into the refrigerator. Okay, so I'm going to raise this slightly. I'm going to bring this out and raise this up. Okay, so if we can have 4 brothers, inshallah, just 4 brothers, 2 on either side, on this side, and 2 on either side on this side. And the way to carry the body is to take the wrist of your brother, okay? Take the wrist of your brother. Okay, give me a hand, that's it. Okay, all right? Okay, give up that? Okay, if everybody wants to follow, inshallah. So we place him onto this tray here. And after the ghusl, this is often the case where you have to refrigerate the body. Okay, that's it, inshallah.
How long do you refrigerate?
You refrigerate him obviously once, here in this country there's a procedure, you know, the body sometimes comes from the hospital, then goes to the coroner, and sometimes there's a post-mortem depending on the cause of death. But if it's a straightforward case, then from the hospital it'll probably come to the masjid. And the masjid here, they have a ghusl area like you're seeing here. You refrigerate the body up until you perform the ghusl, the wudu and the ghusl area. You shroud the body and you wait for the janazah prayer, the funeral prayer. Once that commences, then you take the body straight to the funeral area to be buried. Unfortunately, here it's a custom amongst the, a lot of Asians where they send the body abroad. The sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that you hasten in doing the burial and the ghusl. If any of you have been to Saudi Arabia or your home countries, back home, you'll find that once somebody passes away, the burial is done very, very quickly. Often the case in Saudi Arabia, you'll find that with every prayer, there's multiple janazah prayers there, multiple funerals taking place. And even in some cases, members of the deceased have to wait in the exits area because they can't get to touch or carry the body to the imam where he performs the funeral prayer. And the funeral is passed over the heads of the people to the imam at the front, and once the funeral prayer is complete, then it's sent back in the masjid, and it's sent back to the exit area, placed in an ambulance and driven straight away to the graveyard. And this is where they meet the members of the deceased's family, because they know that if they enter the masjid, there is no way they can make it to the funeral and to the burial area. So this is how quick the burials take place in Saudi Arabia. If you want to pull the catch, sorry? Yes, please move down, Okay, actually we're going to place you into the refrigerator and we're going to keep you in there for a minute or so, inshallah. Is that okay, Abdul Majid? Okay, so we'll line this up with the runners and we'll just roll him in, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. That's it. You just roll him straight inside, inshallah. Okay, and you can now close the catch. Okay, brother, this brother was amongst us, and that place has now become vacant. So you can see, one day, inshallah, we'll be taking this place as well. And death is something that we should always reflect upon. And this helps us to, repair our actions and, do actions which are dutiful to Allah and pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because the only thing you're going to take with you are your deeds. These are the only things that you're going to take with you. So it's up to you to choose. Allah, you can make the grave for yourselves from amongst the gardens of Jannah or from the pit of hellfire. It's entirely up to us. Allah has given us this choice ourselves. You choose, Allah says, your abode in the grave. So sometimes, a believer will do an action and he'll believe until the time of deathbed, he may become a disbeliever. And likewise, there might be a disbeliever at the time of his death. He might have repented. Allah knows best. Allah accepts his repentance. Rahmakallah. Allah accepts his repentance and gives him Jannah. So inshallah we make dua that Allah makes our place of the grave from the gardens of Jannah, inshallah.
You know when the Adhab al-Qabr, is that like when you put them in the grave or just after they die?
The Prophet ﷺ says upon burial that once you bury your deceased and the soul is placed upon the deceased, then for indeed now supplicate for him, because the supplication the Prophet ﷺ used to supplicate for the deceased for as long as it takes you to sacrifice a sheep and distribute its meat, for indeed now he's been questioned by the angels, he's now being questioned in the grave. So the question takes place straight away. And Allah alim whether the punishment or inshallah maybe the relief of the punishment takes place straight away. Then this is something which is from the unseen. But from what we know from the Prophet ﷺ, that we supplicate for the deceased for as long as it takes you to sacrifice a sheep and distribute its meat. Akhi, do you want to just open this, inshallah?
Not the question that has been asked in the grave.
Yeah.
And Allah going to be asked.
Well, as it says, as soon as you bury the deceased, this is when the Prophet ﷺ says, you supplicate now. Once the soul is placed upon the deceased, you supplicate and you stay. The Prophet used to stay there until it takes, for as long as it took him to sacrifice a sheep and distribute its meat. This is when the questioning took place. The Prophet says, now you should supplicate for your brother, because now for indeed he's been questioned in the grave.
That would be like how long can you reach your intent now? How long does it take you to
You mean,
and what supplications do you say?
well, any supplications for the well-being of your brother in the grave, inshallah. There's no the sunnah prayers of burying the deceased is when you place the body into the grave. It's Bismillah wa ala sunnati Rasulullah, in the name of Allah and according to the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, but there's no given sort of supplications for the deceased, but you just supplicate, for the well-being and of his place in the grave. Actually, I'm going to lower this now. So I want you to sort of comprehend and contemplate now that you're above ground level and your body's been placed in the grave and you've been lowered into the grave. Okay, so I'm going to lower this very, very slowly, and I want you to think, Abdul Majid, okay, that this is your status now, and we've taken you out of your coffin, we've taken you to your burial place, and we're lowering you into your grave, okay? And akhi, this is reality. This is the beginning of the life of the hereafter. This is the life of barzakh, and this is where it begins. And this is where you distinguish whether, your life of eternity, this is where it's distinguished from.